sneaking around in the back. Penny Wong to resurrect the voice 3 days out. So she just throws that in there 3 days out as a sort of like, oh, also, we're just going to start this shit again. But what they don't know is that the voice comes out of a group called the Search Foundation. Now, the Search Foundation is the old Communist Party of Australia. And boy, have they got some wonderful policies how they're going to make the country greater for everybody, with big fancy words about how socialism is the guide to the way that they want to have a democratic society. Wonderful people like Thomas Mayo, the two-drop Aboriginal that is a multi-millionaire that goes around touring his book, Always Was, Always Will Be, to most of the capital cities where most of the people that should be reading it don't live because they're out in the bush where the real Indigenous are. But sure, now we've got all of these things going all over the country saying that we're going to pay the rent and do all those different things, even though, you know, they're 4% of our population and we owe them an apology, because I know most of the history tells a pretty dark story, but yet we spend more time worrying about anti-Semitism and hate speech for the 0.4% of our population, which is Jewish, side note. But then you have the ACTU, right? The ACTU secretary, who is, you know, running around. She's part of the Search Foundation. So we've got Labor, we've got communism, we've got union, all in that nice little full circle, using the Indigenous people of our country's plight to make some sort of woke ideology into communism, while Penny Wong is also the National Foundation for Australia-China Relations. She has 100% dipped her fingers into the Chinese infiltration into the back house, because, I mean, we don't have to worry about it. It's not like the CCP is nefarious. And don't take no for an answer. They're not happy about the country doing what it was supposed to do, which was vote for what it wanted in a referendum fairly. And remember what I said, she's resurrecting it, probably because they think they're leading, so it's time now to pull it out. Because all of it, all of the Uluru State and Makarrata or whatever they called it, a whole lot, all of it came through Penny Wong, the Search Foundation, yeah, and Albanese, the little weak puppet up the front, is just doing what he's told. But it all seemed to start like this in the 70s, right? Because we had a red flag. We had a red flag until they changed it officially to blue in the 1953 Flag Act, right? So 1953 Flag Act, they changed it, right? But it was also in 1997 when it was finally recognised, the Indigenous flag, right? Because remember that nothing says more people of the land than someone who makes a copyrighted flag for his design for his people of the nation and votes for him himself. They didn't get a choice. And Ernie Dingo and this guy in the 70s were the first people to come up with the welcome to country. Yeah, corporate Indigenous. Remember, corporate black is the new communist red. At the same time as they were worrying about having a flag and a welcome to country, the government of the day was signing the Lima Declaration, which basically operates in usufruct. Look up that word, usufruct, right? Where they were selling all of the industry, all of the resources, all of the minerals for the last 50 years through the Lima Declaration to make themselves more internationally viable. I mean, I think maybe the communist regime through the back end of Labor, you know, and the union ties made it all possible for all of this stuff to be going on. Because we don't even know our history, right? That flag was our flag until 1953. That flag is not the merchant flag. That is the Australian federal land flag that the First World War diggers fought under. Most likely the Second World War diggers fought under because of their dads, right? You can tell by the 6-pointed star, and then it should be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5-pointed star on a 3-to-2 ratio flag. That is our federal land flag. The blue version is the corporate flag, and the red version of the blue version, which is the same star patterns and a different size, is the maritime one. It took till 1953 for them to say, no more the other one, blue one only. And you know why? The main reason that I can find in there was because the red was too communist. And yet here we sit with Penny Wong and the Search Foundation and Thomas Mayo leading the charge for the Search Foundation, which is the Communist Party of Australia. But not to worry, we all come together on Australia Day. Oh, that's weird. Did you know that Australia Day used to actually be in the last Friday in July, and it was struck for the men and women of the fallen trying to fundraise for the World War because the government wasn't giving them any money. 1915, 1916, 1917, 1918. But sure, let's whip it back to the old 26th of January, which is, deliberately the celebration day of the Indigenous plight that they were talking about. It's also the day that they signed up for the Hague Treaty, where we, the people of Australia, had to pay the debts of the British from the wars. Yeah, sure, it's all good. No problems whatsoever. We've got no risk whatsoever of having our history completely changed by people who say they're for the country, but they're not. They're changing everything. They're making us forget, and they're selling our country at the same time as saying it's for the people, it's for the Indigenous. Welcome to their country. Here's their flag. Corporate version shit through the Communist Party of Australia, and the leader is Penny Wong. So you can choose this election if you take part of the treasonous fraud that is the unconstitutional voting system at the moment. So you can choose Zionism, Fabian communism, through Dutton, or you can choose social communism through Penny Wong and Labor. Your choice. Either way, you're going to get communism, Fabianism, socialism, Bolshevism. Yeah.